Cinderella lived in a small house. Her mother was gone long ago. Her life was very quiet. Her father married again. She got a stepmother. Things soon changed. The stepmother was unkind. She had 2 daughters. They were very mean. Cinderella did all the work. She cleaned and cooked daily. She never complained. Her clothes were old and torn. Her sisters wore fine dresses. They laughed at her. Cinderella slept by the fire. Ash covered her clothes. They called her Cinderella. One day, a message arrived. The king planned a ball. All were invited. The stepsisters were excited. They chose fancy dresses. Cinderella helped them. Cinderella wished to go. Her stepmother laughed loudly. "You must stay home," she said. After they left, Cinderella cried. Her stepmother laughed loudly. "You must stay home," she said. After they left, Cinderella cried. A fairy godmother arrived. She smiled kindly. The fairy waved her wand. Magic sparkled in the air. A miracle began. A pumpkin became a carriage. Mice turned into horses. Magic filled the night. Cinderella wore a blue gown. Glass slippers shined brightly. She looked beautiful. The fairy gave a warning. Return before midnight. The magic would fade. At the palace, music played. Everyone stared at Cinderella. The prince noticed her. They danced happily together. Time passed very fast. Cinderella smiled brightly. The clock began to strike. Cinderella felt afraid. She ran away quickly. One glass slipper fell. The prince picked it up. He wanted to find her. The next day, the prince searched. He carried the slipper. He visited every home. The stepsisters tried hard. Their feet did not fit. They felt angry. Cinderella asked to try. The stepmother refused. The prince insisted. The slipper fit perfectly. Everyone was surprised. Cinderella smiled softly. She showed the other slipper. The magic was real. She was a girl. The prince was overjoyed. He thanked Cinderella. He invited her to the palace. Cinderella forgave her family. She showed kindness. Her heart was pure. She wore royal clothes now. Her life changed forever. She felt thankful. The prince and Cinderella married. The kingdom celebrated. Joy filled the land. Cinderella helped others. She stayed humble. She stayed kind. She lived happily ever after. Kindness changed her life. Dreams do come true. Snow White lived in a castle. She was kind and gentle. Everyone loved her. Her stepmother was a queen. She was proud and vain. She loved beauty most. The queen had a magic mirror. She asked it every day, "Who is the fairest?" The mirror answered truly, "Snow White is fairer." The queen grew angry. The queen felt jealous. She ordered a hunter, "Take Snow White away." The hunter felt sorry. He spared Snow White. "Run and hide," he said. Snow White ran deep inside. The forest looked dark. She felt very afraid. Animals gathered around. They showed her the way. She felt safer now. Snow White found a small house. It was neat but empty. She knocked softly. Inside were 7 beds. 7 chairs stood there. 7 plates were set. Snow White cleaned the house. She cooked warm food. Then she rested. The 7 dwarfs returned home. They looked surprised. They met Snow White. Snow White told her story. The dwarfs felt kind. They welcomed her warmly. Snow White lived with them. She cooked and cleaned. They became family. Back at the castle, the mirror spoke again. Snow White still lives. The queen was furious. She made a disguise. She planned a trick. The queen became an old woman. She carried a red apple. She went to the forest. Snow White was alone. The old woman smiled sweetly. She offered the apple. Snow White took one bite. She fell to the ground. She looked asleep. The dwarfs came running. They chased the queen. She disappeared forever. The dwarfs cried sadly. They could not wake her. They loved Snow White. They placed her gently inside a glass coffin. They watched over her. One day, a prince came. He saw Snow White. He felt hope. The prince kissed her gently. The spell was broken. Snow White woke up. Everyone felt joy. Snow White smiled again. Life returned. Snow White thanked the dwarfs. They hugged her tightly. Tears of happiness fell. The prince asked her, "Will you come with me?" Snow White agreed. They returned to the castle. The kingdom celebrated. Music filled the air. Snow White ruled kindly. The people were happy. Peace returned. Snow White lived happily. Love defeated jealousy. Good always wins. Little Red lived in a village. She wore a red hood. Everyone knew her. Her mother loved her. She baked a cake. Grandmother was sick. Mother packed a basket. Cake and honey inside. Red Riding Hood smiled. "Go straight to Grandma." Mother warned gently. "Do not stop." Red Riding Hood walked happily. Birds sang around her. The forest was bright. A wolf appeared suddenly. He spoke very kindly. She was not afraid. The wolf asked questions. "Where are you going?" She answered softly. "I'm going to Grandma's," she said with a smile. The wolf had a plan. The wolf pointed at flowers. "Pick some for Grandma." Red Riding Hood stopped. She picked pretty flowers. She laughed and played. Time passed slowly. The wolf ran ahead. He reached Grandma's house. The door was open. The wolf knocked softly. Grandma answered weakly. He went inside. The wolf scared Grandma. He hid her safely. He wore her clothes. Red Riding Hood arrived. She knocked politely. The door opened. Grandma looked strange. Big eyes and ears. Red Riding Hood wondered. "Grandma, what big eyes?" "They see you better," the wolf replied. "Grandma, what big ears?" "They hear you better." He smiled oddly. "Grandma, what big teeth?" "To eat you better." The wolf jumped. Red Riding Hood screamed loudly. A woodcutter heard her. He rushed inside. The woodcutter chased the wolf. The wolf ran away. Everyone was safe. Grandma came out safely. She hugged Red Riding Hood. They were thankful. They sat together quietly. They shared the cake. Warm smiles returned. Red Riding Hood felt sorry. She remembered the warning. She learned a lesson. The woodcutter smiled kindly. He gave advice. "Be careful always." Grandma felt much better. Love filled the house. The day felt bright. Red Riding Hood hugged Grandma. She promised to listen. She felt wiser. She walked back home. The forest felt calm. Her steps were careful. Mother waited happily. Red Riding Hood returned safe. She shared the story. Mother hugged her tightly. She smiled with relief. Lessons were learned. Red Riding Hood grew wiser. She listened to advice. She lived happily ever after. Prince Arin and Princess Leora's Little Big Kingdom. In a bright valley stood a small kingdom called Brightbell. It was ruled by Prince Arin and Princess Leora. The kingdom was little on the map, but very big in smiles. Prince Arin woke up early every day. He helped farmers water crops and fixed broken fences. Helping makes my heart strong, he said. Princess Leora loved to listen. She listened to children, elders, and even tiny mice in the garden. Every voice matters, she smiled. One morning, the sun looked pale. Flowers drooped, laughter grew quiet. Something was wrong in Brightbell. A wise sparrow flew down and said, "The kingdom feels small because people feel unseen." Prince Arin and Princess Leora held hands. "We must help," they said together. They opened the palace doors. They invited everyone inside. They shared food, stories, and warm hugs. The prince listened. The princess listened more. They learned about worries, hopes, and dreams. Slowly, smiles returned. Children helped elders. Neighbors helped neighbors. Tiny kindnesses began to glow like magic. The sun shone brighter. Flowers stood tall. Brightbell felt bigger than ever. Not in land, but in love. Prince Arin and Princess Leora ruled happily. They learned a big truth. A little kindness can build a very big kingdom.